Hi, Dr. Cobb here again. We're back talking about habit change this week. It's a beautiful day here in Phoenix, although I'm inside, you can't tell right now. But I got to thinking this morning about the next topic that I wanted to share with you, because last week I gave you a very specific exercise regarding habits. I said, I want you to take out a piece of paper, and if you haven't done it, go ahead and do it now. Take out a piece of paper, write down 5 things that you'd like to change about your life. 5 habits you'd either like to break or new ones you'd like to install. And then we did a little exercise in which I had you get a red pen or whatever, something a different color, and I started off having you cross off the most important habits that you want to change. And what I mean by most important are those that are most emotionally charged, those that seem that like they would matter the most. And we talked last week why that's so important, because the goal was to have 5 and cross off the 4 most important ones until you're down to the one that's least emotionally charged. And as I mentioned that last week, it's very important to understand that your brain often resists change, and the more emotion that sits around the goal, very often the more resistance you meet when you start trying to change it. So we are learning, or talking about right now, learning the skill of habit change. Even before you dive into trying to change big stuff, you want to develop some skill in the process. So number one, you have to understand that starting with low threat habit change is what I believe to be, based on brain science, one of the most logical ways to begin. So we have our list, we have stuff crossed off, we have a habit now that we're starting to look at. We're going to use that habit that you wrote down last week as our example of this week's information. And the concept that I want to share with you this week is so powerful. It's called shrinking your challenge window, or shrinking your danger window. And this is a really simple concept, but it's incredibly profound if you devote time to understanding it and thinking about it. So here's how it works. Most people, when they look at changing their life, look at changing their life in a 24-hour, 48-hour time span, whatever. They go, oh man, I need to begin exercising. I need to do X, or I need to do Y, whatever it is that you wrote down. And the challenge is, when we look at it in the scope of a day, we often intuitively believe that we have a huge problem that we're trying to deal with. Man, I've tried learning to floss my teeth for 10 years. I've never been able to do it. And so every time that thought comes up in your head, we tend to look at it as an all-day kind of problem, a 24-hour-a-day kind of problem, when in reality, the vast majority of your day, you're neither thinking about it, nor is it an issue. Let's use something as simple as flossing your teeth in the morning, all right? So you get up in the morning, you go through your normal routine, whatever it is. You get up, you take a shower, get dressed, whatever. Somewhere in the midst of all that, there is the time, what would be the normal time or opportunity for you to pull out your floss and floss your teeth. And if you actually look at that in a real world time scale, if we were to put you on a stopwatch, the decision-making time, floss or not floss, is probably somewhere around 10 seconds, 30 seconds at most in your entire day. And the point that I'm trying to make here is that almost all habit change really revolves around decisions made in 30 seconds to 2 minutes. It doesn't matter what it is. Exercise, how you eat, it all comes down to these moment-by-moment decisions, and it is incredibly empowering to look at your life from that perspective, because you don't have to have willpower 24 hours a day to floss your teeth. You have to have a practice that takes a few seconds in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening or whenever it is you want to do that to begin making a really significant difference in your life. Now, this applies, as I said, across the board. Most people's challenges are very, very small in the scope of a full day. So let's talk about snacking. Maybe one of the habits you wanted to work on is late night snacking. Awesome. By late night snacking, you've already defined, I have a 2-hour danger window here. So once we begin understanding the time frames in which our decisions are most challenging, that gives us an opportunity to create strategies to do something different. That's stuff that we're going to be talking about in future episodes of the blog. So I hope this information is powerful for you. Like I said, go through this process with the habit that you wrote down last week. Think it through, look at your day and go, okay, what's my danger window? Because if you can just begin identifying that, number one, it gives you more freedom mentally and emotionally to go, whew, things aren't as bad as I thought. And number two, it's going to provide you the time frame in which we need to develop a better strategy. So have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.